I finished this video 2 years ago. Practically everything about my life has changed since then. I've moved cities, changed jobs, made new friends, bought new shoes. But one thing has stayed constant. I don't think this video is good enough. I've been agonizing over what to do with audio of this video for 2 years. I've workshopped half a dozen different ideas. There's no story here, there's no greater message. It's far from perfect, but that doesn't matter. I'm just gonna put in my time, put in the work, and the stories will come. It's time I put my stamp on this project and call it done. It's time I stand up to that tyrant named Perfection and proudly proclaim, this video is mediocre. You have no right to be here. To which Perfection replies, you could have said that a little better. Let's try another take. Striving for perfection is pining for something that doesn't exist and can't exist. So we're just gonna talk. Or I'm just gonna talk. So if you will, put on your shoes and come join me for a walk. One step at a time, one foot in front of the other. I'll go on a little odyssey with you, and I'll record this in a single take, or two. We'll start by talking about shoes. Shoes say a lot about a person. That's been the case ever since middle school, when you'd be able to tell who was in the bathroom stall just by looking at their shoes. And I guess even before that, you could tell who the cool kids were by their light-up shoes and Velcro straps. Shoes can hint at what type of work you do, whether you're blue-collar or white-collar, athletic, overly confident in your ability to keep white shoes white. Bless you. Even the lack of shoes says a lot about a person. For example, if I'm not wearing shoes, you can see that I dropped a jar of peanut butter on my big toe, and it absolutely wrecked me. It wasn't even that big of a jar. Or, if you look at my roommate's feet, you can tell that he bought a tattoo gun off the internet when he was 17 because he was too young to get tattoos by a professional.
Get the hell out of here.
I like shoes. What I don't like is their tendency to get strewn about. Unlike their more private counterpart socks, which are shy and like to hide or disappear, shoes are proud, extroverted. They like to join you all around the house, at the coffee table, or in your bedroom. It seems like no matter how militant you are about it, they find a way to make their way around the house. Throughout the week, as we get home from work, change into more comfortable shoes, go for runs, they slowly start to move about thinking we won't notice. But we do. To quote Shakespeare's play, The Taming of the Shoe, socks and shoes get tossed off, arranging them's a lost cause. It's time to tame the wild shoe. I need a shoe rack. And if you haven't gathered by now, that's what I'm making here in the background. A shoe rack. Just as it takes energy to organize your shoes, it takes energy to turn raw materials into an organized object. It'd be nice if those trees would spontaneously shape themselves into a shoe rack for me, but I'm not getting my hopes up. This wood starts out as a tree. We have to come by and chop it down, drag it to a mill, and turn these organic shapes and natural curves into unnatural, but orderly lumber. Circles to squares, curves to lines. All that requires work. But after we've done all that, it's too rigid, too structured. If I made this shoe rack out of just nice square pieces of wood, it would work, but it would lack a certain elegance. It would be square. We've got to untidy the work we've done to make this wood into lumber. So I try to meet somewhere in the middle. Goldilocks doesn't like wicker furniture because it's too organic. But she also doesn't like arranging wood planks around the house and calling it furniture because that's too rigid. We've got to find a balance. Find where to add curves, where to keep lines straight, where to steal from 90 and where to be generous to 90. Modify the design until it's just right. Everyone has a different Goldilocks. Different cultures, different times, different people have varying preferences in design. Victorian design was incredibly ornate and intricate with so many details that it feels cluttered to me. Nowadays, we've moved more towards the minimalistic end of the spectrum. My personal Goldilocks likes things more on the structured side. My personal Goldilocks also would have taken the bowl of soup that was too cold for the actual Goldilocks and put it in the freezer for 5 more minutes before eating it. I have a super heat-sensitive mouth. Whenever I eat at a restaurant, I have to wait forever for the food to cool down, or I put ice in my soup from the cup of water, which, by the way, was too cold. So now I have watered down soup and souped up water. I like my food lukewarm. People think I'm crazy, but I frequently put my food in the freezer for a few minutes after I cook it, because it's just too hot to eat. Anyway, you can't please everyone. Everyone has a different Goldilocks. Like I said, I've been putting off making this video for a long time. My white shoes are a lot less white now. I want to start making videos, but I didn't want to just narrate the action directly. It gets really boring when people say I made a cut here and here, then I glued these 2 pieces together and now I have a shoe rack. So I try to do something different with the audio portion. We do too much convergent thinking. I want to hear what's tangentially related to this or that. What's cooking in your brain, and what temperature do you serve it at? Like I said, I workshopped a bunch of different ideas for the audio, and this is the one I settled on. Probably the one idea I'm most upset, or maybe relieved about not working, is rapping over the video. A shoe rack rap track, if you will. Maybe one day, but today is not that day. So in lieu of the actual rap, I'll leave you with some of my favorite lyrics that I wrote for it. You've already heard this one. Socks and shoes get tossed off, arranging them's a lost cause. Was not actually written by Shakespeare, but by me. And some others. I'm so sick of these fools using their tools. Show you the grain, apply some stain, stay in their lane and speak their brain. Is that your best? Give me more than that. It's not a request, I ordered that. Now the glue up, squeeze it out, spread it with your fingers, let it dry, remove all that lingers. I don't know what I'm doing either, y'all. I don't know whether to scrap it all or wrap it after all. And one of my personal favorites. Thank God it's a SawStop, I'm not gonna chop my fingers off. SawStop, you can have that one. New slogan. Sponsor me. And we'll end it with this awful one. Buzz and burr the blades do go. Keep 'em sharp or you'll see the Shadow Realm. Yu-Gi-Oh! Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Till next time.